Hey everyone, so this is chapter 4 of the KQL tutorial series. Hopefully it hasn't been too challenging with the cheat sheet and some of the exercises I've done. Hopefully it's been easy to catch on. We're going to take it a step further and we're going to take KQL and build queries within KQL, but use those queries to build, I probably saw in the title, a MITRE dashboard. Now, it could have MITRE is just a data set that is the attack catalog from MITRE's website, but it could have been Pokemon data or whatever. The goal is I want to teach you and give you the necessary skills to take KQL and use it to build a dashboard, maybe build a workbook, or even use KQL to ingest it using other means, right? Azure Data Explorer is just another interface to query take KQL and query. It's actually used for data AI, and it actually does very large data sets. It actually runs queries against, I believe even petabytes of data. So it's very, very quick to query these large data sets using the Azure Data Explorer. And Azure Data Explorer also allows you to query multiple workspaces and join tables between multiple log analytics workspaces. So it has a unique use case, but in this example, it was pretty easy just uploading a JSON attack catalog file from MITRE and then just querying it, right? With log analytics, you probably have to do some work to ingest a attack catalog and inject into a custom log that you can surface in log analytics. Definitely achievable, but I just chose this route and also just wanted to highlight another tool. Okay. And FYI, the Defender for Endpoint and Azure Sentinel already come with MITRE integrated, right? This particular use case is just having a dashboard that you know you can filter on. So let's say maybe you are interested in looking at any possible attack techniques around Mac, the platform, and these columns are going to these visual elements are going to filter based on that, and then maybe you're interested in some logs, authentication, maybe the BIOS or DLL, whatever it is, but you're just filtering the attack techniques to the respective categories. And for kill chain, maybe we're interested in initial access, persistence, maybe execution phase, right? So maybe 3 of the kill chain phases. And now we have a filtered attack description list, right? And also particular external links that associated around that MAC, right? So maybe the malware persistence on OS X, click on that link and it takes you to this particular vulnerability or attack technique, okay? So that's really the goal, is just to take a data set and give you the necessary skills to build your own dashboards. Whether it's MITRE, whether it's CVE or whatever, you should have the necessary knowledge after this tutorial. All right, so you're going to have to ingest the data into MITRE. Fortunately enough, I have built a public repository that you can access. So you're just going to have to go to here, and then let me actually go to my other tool, and you're just going to have to add this. So first, I suggest going to AKS ms/KQL Data Explorer. That is going to take you to the free, publicly accessible Azure Data Explorer repository. From there, add a cluster and add my cluster to it so you can access my stuff. And it's going to be teachjing.westus.custo.windows.net. Okay, that again is teachjing.westus.custo.windows.net. Let me add that. Once you add that, you're going to be touching the security data table, and within that, the MITRE attack catalog. Okay, so let's go ahead and start building that dashboard, right? We're going to do it from scratch, so I might go a little fast. I apologize, but pause it, right? There's that pause button, so pause it if I am going a little fast so you can catch up. All right, so whenever we're trying to build that dashboard, we don't really know what we're trying to build. We have a general idea, but we have to look at the data, right? So let's go ahead and look at the data. So we're going to type MITRE attack catalog, and let's do limit 100. We just want to look at the data, so we want to get a quick response. And we have the ID column, name column. So let's start noting the columns we want to pay attention to. So let's maybe, with the project, remember project is going to pull the columns you want. So maybe I want the name column. I want the external references because that will take me, give me those external links. Maybe the tag type. Let's see what else. Maybe the description. Maybe kill chain phases. What else we got here? How about some data sources, right? Where that data source is coming from. And what else? Defense bypass. I mean, there's so much here, but we are gonna use, I think, where was the kill chain phase? Data source, one more. Where was it? Platforms. We're gonna do XMITRE platforms. Okay, does that make sense? Hold shift, press enter, and now we have a nice filter list of the columns. Okay, now let's build a tile visual element that for that dashboard. So one little piece. Remember, this is like, imagine the dashboard as your canvas, and the tile elements are going to be the trees or things you're putting on this canvas. And KQL is your paintbrush. Literally, it's going to be what you are painting with. Okay, so I'm going to be like Bob Ross teaching how to paint. Okay, basically. So, yeah. Let's see here. Let's do kill chain first. Let's do the kill chain phase, all right? So let's just do project kill chain phase. Let's just get rid of all the clutter. And what do you notice here? What do you notice immediately? Some stuff is not there, meaning that for that particular attack technique, there was no entry. So let's ignore it. It's not going to be valuable in what that dashboard's trying to do. So we're going to just do the function you want to use is not null, and then you're going to want to do kill. Oh, sorry about that. You're going to want to do kill chain phase. Now we have the filter list with no empty, any empty items in kill chain phase. All right. What do you see as well? What do you see? Well, let me make this bigger. Let me get rid of this, make this go away. Can I collapse this as well? Yeah, there we go. Do this, make it even more zoomed in. Okay, so what do you see here? What do you see here? I see two kill chain names, meaning that this particular column has more stuff inside it, right? And this stuff inside it, it's JSON data. So this is sort of, it has its own key value pairs and objects within that particular column. What would you do with this? Well, we know that it's an array because if you look here, there's a square bracket. Square brackets indicate it's an array. Inside it, there's curly braces or curly brackets that indicate that key value pair. Okay? So that means to me that we need to have multiple rows for those respective kill chain names, but still retain the column information. So let's see what that looks like. Let me show you exactly what that means. So what we're going to do is we're going to MV expand. MV expand basically identifies that if there's an array, it'll just take that each item in that array and make its own row, and then grab all the similar columns and then just populate it. So we're going to MV expand the kill chain phase, and let's see what it looks like. Yeah, it looks good. Okay, so now we did that. We want to, let me actually show you everything coming in. So let's run it without the project. And yeah, everything came in. Awesome. And if you notice, bash profile and this a particular name or attack now has two different kill chain names, right? One is privilege escalation and persistence, right? So I've taken that column and I've made multiple rows with that. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, what do we need to do now? Let's look at kill chain phase again. It's still in that JSON, in a key value pair, and if you look at it, that could be a column, right? Kill chain name could be a column, and phase name could be a column. So what I am going to do is we're going to unpack that folder and pull out those key value pairs and insert it into the rows. So let's do that. Evaluate, and then bag unpack, and then we want to bag unpack kill chain phases. And what do you think will happen? Well, it destroys kill chain phases and turns it into kill chain name and phase name. Kill chain phases go away. Okay? If you unpack and you have a column that matches a column that already exists for that, where you're unpacking it in, if you have an ID column and you're unpacking something and the internal context has ID as well and they're matching, that can't happen and it'll error out. To overcome that, you want to do this and then do an underscore and then something like that, or a X underscore. And what happens is it makes an X underscore and prefixes it, so now you have your own unique columns. Okay, so you might run into a situation. In this case, we don't have it, but you might run into that situation. I just wanted to tell you that if you have that situation, you want to put that prefix. So now we have MITRE attack. We have that. Let's summarize, right? We want to group it up, and we want to do it by count, and we want to do it by the phase name, not the kill chain name because they're all the same. We want to do it by the phase name. And now we have something that we can insert into a tile element. Remember, the query is going to basically build that result of the query is going to be input into the visual elements. You have to provide the required inputs for that visual element to work properly. So a visual element might require a list. A visual element might require a timeline if you're doing a timeline sequence, or if you're doing a bar chart, or if you're doing geography, then you're going to need latitude and longitude coordinates, right? So always keep that in mind, is you need to provide that visual element what inputs it requires to present its elements. So now let's go ahead and pin it to a dashboard. We're going to make a new dashboard. We're going to call this one kill chain phase, and then the data source name is going to be security data, so we don't have to touch that. We're going to then create a new dashboard. We're going to call this a MITRE dashboard demo, and we're going to view the dashboard after creation. Click pin. Now, doesn't really look good. Let's pretty it up. Turn on edit mode, go to the ellipse, go to edit tile, and then we're going to find a column chart. No, actually we'll do a pie chart for that. And yeah, apply changes, save it, and here we go. We got our first tile element here, okay? We're not filtering yet. We're gonna do that later, but we got a first tile element here, okay? Let's go back to our query. Let's copy this and let's open up a new tab. And then from here, let's look for something else. So we did kill chain phases. Let's look at data sources. So we're going to do project data sources. X MITRE data sources, and let's look at the data. So what do you see here? You also see some blank stuff, not useful for that particular dashboard. So we're going to remove it. We're going to do where is not null, X MITRE data sources, and now we've got something to work with. Okay. What do you also see? Remember, if it's a square bracket, it's an array because these are commas separating it, right? Got that? So what do? We've got to unpack that item. Remember, if you want to have multiple rows for every single item here, because that's not really you're not splitting into columns. That's multiple entries. We need a row item for every entry. We've got to MV expand it. We reference that XMITRE data source, and now we have a list. Let's remove project. So now we get the full list, and now let's actually summarize by count by what's the data sources? Process use, yeah, XMITRE data sources. Forgot to put a parentheses. Okay, here's another error. Now, the error message actually tells you what to do. It says that it's a dynamic type, so convert it to a string so that I can work with that data. Because dynamic's not supported for the summarize. So simply, toString, parentheses it, close it, and is that right? Count by toString. Try again. By toString XMITRE data sources. All right, that worked. So now we got a count of data sources, right? Let's copy and paste. I'm sorry, not copy and paste, but let's take and share, pin to dashboard, and we need to make the other piece. What is this called? Data sources. We're going to use an existing dashboard, stick it in there, check mark view dashboard after creation, click pin, and then click on the edit mode, go to the edit tile, and now we're going to do column chart. Let's do a column chart. Apply changes. Okay. Let me make it a little bigger, Process morning. It's kind of too much. Let's turn this actually to a bar chart so I could just see it kind of horizontally. Yeah, that's better. Okay, let's do another one. All right, copy and paste this, open up another tab, paste it, delete all this. We need to now find platforms. Let's do platforms. So I'll do project XMITRE platforms. And again, there's empty rows, so we want to filter that where XMITRE platforms. Oh no, is not null. We got to use the function MITRE platforms. And now we've got to filter list. Let's summarize. But oh no, not yet. We've got to expand that. Remember, square brackets. There's a comma. It's an array. Let's expand it so that we can turn those turn two items in that array into its own row. And XMITRE platform. And now we have that. Then we're going to summarize count by XMITRE platform. Remember, if it's dynamic, you have to convert it to string. And now we have a list. Does that make sense? So let me repeat again if you're trying to still understand this. We took MITRE catalog. We then did that, right, where we got the columns. We filtered on this column. We then tried to remove the empty rows, right? And then now we made a row entry for every single item in that array list for the within the XMITRE platforms column. And now we're grouping it. That's it. we now have a what we need to build that tile element. So now, oh yeah, I got to move these limits. That's not good. Remember to remove those limits because it's not going to be accurate data. So we're going to pin to dashboard. We're then going to type in platforms. We're going to right here check mark view dashboard after creation, pin it, and let me actually go here and edit these other tiles to remove those limits. And I suggest you do the same because we want the full list. Now that we have our query right, we don't need that limit anymore. The limit was there just to query fast, but now that we got the full list, we don't really need that. So again, we want to edit this tile, the platform tile, and let's turn this into the column chart. Okay? And we're going to drag this over here. You do whatever you want. Make this kind of small. Try to squeeze it in between. Make it a little pretty. Whatever you want, but yeah. All right. So we have kill chain phases, platforms, and data sources, right? Okay. Now we've got to get the event list. So let's go ahead and work on that. So save changes, go to here, and go to the event list, and let's build that list. So what would that be? I imagine it'd be something like this, pretty much, right? And then actually, let's put project name description. And I know what you're thinking. Why do I have two of these? But you'll see why. You'll see why later. Because I need to do filtering, so I need those columns, basically. There's some empty ones with descriptions. That's not going to be really helpful as well for this data set. So we're going to do where description. Oh, where is not null description. It didn't remove it. So is not null did not remove that particular item. Why do you think that? Why do you think it did not remove the description? Sometimes it might have a value and it's an empty value. So we're going to say not, where was it? Where description, I do not contains, there it is, not contains, oh actually, not contains blank. Yeah, that's right. So no blanks. Why is it no rows? What did I do wrong? Where description not equal to blank? All right, that works. Okay. Not contains blank. Oh, I did. That was wrong. So not equals to blank. That'll work. All right, so we have that list, and yeah, let's just copy it in. We're going to pin it to the dashboard, reference the dashboard, check mark view dashboard after creation. We'll call this attack techniques. So just techniques. Pin it. Should pop up on the bottom. Edit tile. Give it a little more space. Give this one more space. Yeah, and we got something like this. Okay. All right. For the last data point, we're going to look at the external list. So let's delete this. And let's look at the external list, external references. See what that looks like. All right, so we see the square brackets, so we know it's an array. We see the curly brackets, so we know that there's some key value pairs inside it. So we've got to expand those. So let's just do the first part. Let's turn it to rows, or turn those items or the array, the items in that array into it and give it its own row. So Now they have its own row, right? And you notice that these JSON items, some of them has a source name, some of them have a attack technique ID, some of them have a URL, right? So it's kind of difficult, but let's see what we can do. Now let's unpack that JSON. So evaluate, bag, evaluate, bag, unpack, external references. I don't think I need to include a prefix. And okay, we got something here. Now, some descriptions as well. Whatever. Again, this is just, we're just freestyling. We don't, I don't really know what I'm building, but have a general idea. External links, MITRE dashboard, and feel free to pull whatever elements you want, like, and use it. So, because there's a lot more data in there. So, oh, it didn't pop me over there. Let's go back here. There's the external links right here, and let's expand it a bit. So URL. Let's do this. Let's edit the tile, and let's render the links on the URL. Apply changes. So now we can make these URL links clickable, right? Cool. Now we need to filter. How do you filter a dashboard? You need parameters. So let's go to edit mode and go to add parameters, okay? First parameter, let's do platform. Oh no, kill chain phase. And let's call this, let's do a multiple selection because you can select multiple kill chain phases in that filter. And then we're gonna do param kill chain phase. And, or let's just do a P or whatever, but something to identify that variable. Its data string is going to be a string. It's going to be, I don't have the query for it. Scratch that. Let's go back and grab that query. We're going to go here to the first one. Let me actually remove this limit 100. Copy this. Go back to the MITRE dashboard. Go to edit. Go to parameters. Add a new parameter. Kill chain phase. Now we do multiple selection. P kill chain phase. Let's do query, and let's add that query I copied, right? Let's look at the result. Perfect, done. And then we want to select that phase name as the display name. The default value will be select all, and we're done. Okay, so that's one filter. Let's add another filter. We need to add platforms and data sources. So let's save changes. Let's add filter for platforms and data sources. So this is the data sources one. So we're going to copy that, and we're going to go back to our dashboard, edit, parameters, new parameters, and we're going to do data sources. Variable name is p data sources. We'll do multiple selection. We'll do a query. We'll add a query. We'll paste that here. We got some results. Done. Value, data sources, default value, select all. Done. All right. Now let's do another query for the platform. So we go here. We go to platforms. We copy that. We go back to our dashboard, edit, parameters, new parameters, platforms, right? We're building all our parameters we need to filter by. We'll do P platforms, and we do a query. We'll add the query, paste it. Let's see, this is for platforms, yes. So we'll run it. Looks good. Done. Value, platforms, default value, select all. Done. Okay. What else? I think that's it. We're gonna filter by. Okay. All right. So, all right. So let's start filtering now. Let's start filtering. I'm gonna do one example, and your homework is to do the rest. So, edit, and we're gonna do kill chain phases. So we don't want to modify this one by kill chain phase. We just want to modify the other ones. So we want to modify this, and then we're going to say project name. Actually, I actually don't need to include that. We could just say where kill chain phase has any, and what are we going to put here? P kill chain phase. Does that make sense? Where kill chain phase has any of those parameters to filter that list. Okay, we're going to do the same one over here. Add it to the data sources as well. We do actually perfect. All right, and just do it to the others. We're just doing it to the others, so we can filter on those. Edit tile, paste that, apply changes, save. We're just matching that particular parameter once we filter it. Add it here, paste it here as well. All right, cool, right? You guys with me? Now let's filter by kill chain phase. Let's just do one. And everything updates, right? Does that make sense? Now, I want you to do the same one for the other stuff, right? Take what you know, look at the queries, and I want you to do the same thing for the other stuff. And again, now that you know how to build this query and know how to build this data, you can use the same premise to build notebooks, workbooks. You can use it to build your own dashboards. That query, and you summarize by, you can actually inject, do an API call, provide that query, and then get a result via JSON, and then take it and then hydrate your other dashboards or Power BI. So a lot of cool things you can do now that you know how to build this dashboard. So yeah, your homework is to do it for the other stuff. Build filters for the other stuff. And also, I'm going to give you another homework assignment is go here under attack techniques, and how would you filter? You're going to have to add a parameter. How would you filter and have a little searchable string to find a particular attack in attack techniques? Okay, so all right guys, so thank you for watching. I hope this was helpful. To recap, we took KQL queries, we built visual elements within MITRE, and you should have the necessary skills to kind of build your own dashboard, right? If it was a MITRE data set or if a CVE data set, it doesn't matter. You should know how to break apart those JSONs and show, make the data a certain way so it shows up properly. For the other elements like geography or timelines, those require other columns. So just I'm going to do another video about that, and we're going to do some geography mapping and things like that. So stay tuned for the next video. All right. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and have a good day. Stay safe.